Cool.
All right. Aloha, welcome to Chuck Furuya Uncorked. We are shooting our first episode of Fine Wines and Local Grinds.
Oh, man.
With Micah Suderman and Kimo Kennedy.
Aloha.
Aloha, everybody.
This is something that Micah's wanted to do for a really long time, so we're glad to see it kind of come to life. And
thanks for bringing it to life.
Oh, wow. Thank you for suggesting it life, you know? So Kimo's our special guest of the week.
Not that special.
Is into pizzas and spent some time in Italy for a month last November. So he it was his suggestion to do pizza and specifically Brick Fire Tavern. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Solid.
Selfishly just wanted to eat
pizza, right?
Brick Fire
and
pizza.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, wine doesn't hurt either.
Doesn't hurt.
You know, but
Well,
that's a great pizza spot, though. I love
it. And it works too, because a lot of the wines that we've been talking about, the suggestive pairings were pizza. So now we get to kind of, I mean, throughout the history of this podcast, you know, so now we get to kind of put that into motion.
That's awesome. I mean, I love pizza. Like, to me, it's like, I mean, yeah, I grew up in Kailua. It's not like a local grind by any mean, but it is a local grind. I mean, that's like what you go to, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But how was it in Italy? Your perspective, how did that change with, you know, your experiences in Italy, just with how you view pizza now?
I feel like the pizza and the food in general is like just so simple, right? Like to like it's just basic ingredients done really well, prepared really well. That was what was surprising to me. It was like even the pasta, like olive oil, garlic, like
done
homemade pasta.
Right.
So the pizza was similar. Like this is my favorite actually style of pizza, Neapolitan style pizza.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of that like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, like you have to pull
the
cheese,
exactly.
Like, splits.
Yeah, totally. Cowabunga, bro.
There's not a lot of pizza places like that are doing this style really well here. Like, I mean, no offense to pizza people that are doing pizza like this out here, but Brick Fire was like one of the first places I ate here that I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's similar.
Pretty comparable to, you know, this style of pizza.
I actually think the owner, Matt Reich, went to Italy to study for a while.
I mean, it's an art. When you watch them, I mean, when you eat it, I was telling him earlier, like when you eat this style of pizza, it almost feels like a pasta, like like it has a lot of chew to it. So it's like different than like just normal the pizza, like New York style, right? It's like
or it's more bready.
Yeah. But I like that. You could smash like 100 of these. I feel like
guaranteed
over the course of a day.
Absolutely.
These are the last remaining slices of pizza.
This is it.
We were digging into it a little earlier, so
we
gotta make this thing last.
Yeah, no, I like it though how you equate it to pasta because like you know it's like you have this starch, almost like conducer or this vessel to carry this wonderful acidic sauce and this fatty meat to kind of all come together. These herbaceous, you know, notes in it from the seasonings and whatnot. And I think that's one thing that we miss out on sometimes, you know, growing up eating, you know, the normal, you know, whatever pizzas and whatnot, is that there's
after Sandy Beach.
Right. Yeah, right. I mean, how can you not, you know? It's still the best $1.50 I've ever spent, you know? But like, you know, there's never been a lot of thought in the median that carries all these wonderful components to it, like the dough and everything like that, and the detail to that, the type of yeast, everything like that, right, makes a huge difference. It's like, you know, we've talked about in the podcast before, like it's almost like terroir, right? Like the median that carries all these wonderful things almost carries like the soul of the dish to some degree, like because it's that special yeast strain or that the type of flour, how they bake it, how they knead it, everything comes into play with the flavor and how those flavors kind of stand out or are muted, you know, if it's not done well and whatnot.
Cool. So walk us through this. What slice are we going to start with first, Micah?
Well, your dad told me to start with the Margarita.
Okay.
So I'm not going to not listen to your dad.
And by the way, we're doing all these wines blind with the pizza. So we want to hear what Kimo has to say about what he enjoys the best, which number wine he enjoys with the pizza. And then maybe we can get technical with you about everything, Micah.
Totally. And I think too, like the way we can do it, and just basically what we should do is be, you know, taking a bite, drinking the wine, take another bite, drink the next wine, and roll through it and talk about it as we go.
Cool.
Just to kind of compare and contrast, like how the pizza itself will change with a different wine on your palate.
Cool.
Let's take the first bite. I'm hungry.
Let's do it.
All right.
Start with the white. Yeah.
We'll start off with the white.
I feel like I took too big a bite of the pizza.
Smashing them.
Well, and that's an interesting thing. It like, do you take a sip of the wine with the pizza still in your mouth before you eat the pizza?
I mean,
after you eat the pizza?
I do. I'll bite it. I'll chew most of it. Sip the wine, and just kind of get it all in there and stuff like that. I don't think there's really a wrong way. I think just enjoy and get get the wine on your palate, get the pizza going, and just kind of get it all working in there.
Floaters in it.
Yeah, you just don't want to be that guy, right? Chicks don't think
or
that.
like your rim all smeared.
Yeah, exactly. Smeared with.
All fairness, I had some lip gloss.
Okay.
I had some chapstick on before I sipped that, so that's not all.
Don't zoom in on that glass.
Disclaimer.
Wine one goes pretty good. What do you?
I like that. Yeah.
No, I do. I like that too because it just washes it down, right? And then you're ready for the next bite, and there's not a lot of bitterness to it and whatnot. And the first wine is pretty leesy. Like it has like the yeast kind of component to the wine, and I think that ties super cool with obviously the dough, kind of accentuating, the sweetness of the sauce and the tomato and the herbaceousness of some of the seasonings. I think it's pretty tasty.
Good.
It makes you want to eat more.
It does.
Right? That's a good pairing when it makes you want to eat more.
So wine number 2?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, I do love that dough.
Well, that's interesting. That like really accentuates the cheese.
Yeah. The cheese definitely stands out, yeah?
I think back to wine number 1 as well. Dad sprinkled a little bit of this certain basil that, what is the name of it? Chef Keith likes to cook with it.
Is that the Genoa basil?
So that I think that really helps to complement with wine number 1.
Well, I was just gonna say that my first bite I didn't really have that much basil in it. And that second one I did.
Yeah, same.
It was a lot different.
Yeah.
Obviously different wines, but more punchy. Like that basil is like pretty fragrant and strong. But
yeah, and it definitely came out even more with the wine. Like it was fine when you ate it and whatnot, but then with the wine, that basil just becomes like the superstar of the dish and just really shines with that rosé. And what's nice too about the rosé with the tomato sauce is it almost the rosé before the tomato sauce, it was drier. It had a little bit more muted, red notes and strawberry notes. But then with the sauce, like it almost like turned candied strawberry on your palate, like a strawberry juicy fruit, like real subtly in there on the wine.
I thought it made it accented the cheese really well. Like it brought out, I don't know if it increased the flavor, strengthened the flavor of the cheese, but that stuck out to me when I started eating the pizza.
Made
after
it
the
super
rosé.
cheesy.
Super cheesy.
So cheesy.
extra cheesy.
Mine easy. All right, Reb.
First red.
First Reb.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of like wine number 1 where it just washes everything down and gets you ready for that second bite.
It definitely does. I think too for me, this one there's a bitterness though in the mid palate that kind of stands out. Where
What do you think about this one?
Yeah,
I agree with the bitterness side of it. I don't know what a mid palate is.
Well, like it's like right in the
to me.
Explain it.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you understand songs, right? So it's like, every time you eat or drink something, it's like you have it's a story, just like a song. You have, your verse, your chorus, your bridge, and it ends, right? So kind of like with wine, you'll have these stages of flavor that will kind of roll through your palate, and then the finish, even after it's gone, right? You can still taste it afterwards, right? And that's like the finish. So it's kind of like in the middle of that. Like in the beginning, it's like nice fruit, but then it gets into this weird like bitter spot.
That makes sense.
In the middle of it, kind of singing in your palate, if you will.
Yep.
Interesting.
So, but yeah, it definitely stood out more than any other wines. But definitely, I think at the end, it softened out and mellows out for sure, to where your palate is somewhat refreshed and reset
for that next
as well for that next bite, right? Or that next gulp. right? Which I feel like I'm drinking the rosé too fast. I might need more.
He's thirsty.
Thirsty. All right. Next bite.
Whoa. I want to see what you have to say about this first.
That one had I feel like more of the bitterness in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same.
It's just bigger too, right?
Yeah.
More loud, the wine.
Mm-hmm.
Question though, do you think it made the pizza taste better or worse?
I personally thought it tasted worse.
Yeah, right. Me too.
To me, it just was so intense in the wine that
Buried it.
it drowned out the flavor of the pizza, is what I got too.
I feel like it makes a big difference what bite you get of it too, right? Like, I mean, if you have some of that basil in there, then it's just like boom.
Right.
Or more tomato sauce versus more cheese,
Right.
or right.
You get into like the crust, and that's gonna be like a whole different animal.
Oh.
right?
We're gonna dip the crust, right?
Yeah, right.
Like
I mean, we
in
can.
church.
Yeah.
In church. It's a back alley communion, right?
Yeah. Wait, what is that? Because I was watching Irishman, and they do that. They're just pinching off pieces of bread and dipping it in wine.
I mean, let's give it a try.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm interested. Let's try it with the one I like the least.
okay.
I'd have to say that's kind of horrible.
Yep.
But see, that's playing with your food, right? Like, that's the thing. We had one slice of pizza. We had 4 different wines. And that pizza tastes different throughout the entire series. So, in essence, we had 4 slices of pizza in one slice, right? That's the beauty of pairing or also to the not beauty, right?
Well,
If it's
and what
not
we
good.
like or don't like, someone else could like or not like. Like someone else could have enjoyed wine number 4 the best. Like
Yeah.
that's why it's pretty cool. It's like your interpretation of art, you know?
Right. And kind of what song you like, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, do you want smooth jazz, which, number 1?
Yeah, smooth jazz is number 1 for sure.
Exactly.
That was your
You know?
favorite?
Number 2 is like R&B love songs, right?
Ooh.
Strawberries, rose petals all over the place, right? My number 3, you're working into, I don't know, maybe a little bit of like Green Day or, some punk. And then this is like
And this
just
is
death metal. It's screaming at you,
This
right?
Ain't no fun.
Yeah,
Snoop Dogg ain't no fun.
yeah. That's great. Yeah, totally. So,
I definitely enjoyed wine 1 the best with.
The margarita pizza?
Yep.
I'd have to
yeah,
agree with that.
I agree
yeah.
with that 100%.
Especially when you got that bite of basil in it.
Yeah, it definitely brought out that like freshness, and it was delicious, no bitterness. It didn't finish alcoholic and whatnot. And that to me actually one of the things when I'm looking at pairings is like I definitely don't want it to finish alcoholic because it's so easy to kind of get there with the wrong pairing that it's just awful. I remember a long time ago I did a pairing dinner, and the chef was like, we're gonna do like a lemon meringue pie. I was like, okay, I don't even know what I'm going to pair with that. But you know what? I know what's going to work with lemon meringue pie. Limoncello, right? And I was thinking in my head, it made sense, right? How could I go wrong? Lemon and lemon? What? Yeah, it's not going to go wrong. So the night of the dinner, I didn't test it, didn't try it. About to run it out to the table, right? Take a bite of the lemon meringue, and I'm like, okay, let me just try this. Tasted good. I hit the limoncello, and all of a sudden, everything fell apart. All I tasted on the limoncello, it tasted like straight vodka, like Everclear vodka, because the lemon in the dish was sweet, so it took away the perception of the sweetness on the limoncello completely. So all that my palate could perceive at that point was vodka, and then the pie tasted like cream, like the lemon was also gone, and it was the worst pairing I had ever experienced. And I pulled it off the table. I was like, I can't subject you to this. This is just terrible. It's super embarrassing. So,
Life lesson.
Yeah, life lesson.
Limoncello is pretty like punchy liquor, right? Like liqueur, like whatever.
It's like a
'Cause we drank a bunch of that in Italy.
It's like a lemon infused. Yeah. It's like a lemon infused neutral grain spirit, right? Like,
and lemon meringue could be pretty like tart and
sweet.
Yeah, and sweet. And then with the two together, it's literally just tasted like milk and vodka, and it was just terrible. It was the worst. It was
So note to self. No
super
limoncello.
embarrassing moment. And also, don't set out pairings until you've tried it.
Which pizza should we do next? Mushroom.
Mushroom. All right.
Let's do it.
Mushroom.
You still get room. Mushrooms.
That's because I'm a fun guy.
Wow, you are a fun guy.
Keems is on the podcast because he's the fun guy.
There you go.
No, I'm on the podcast to learn about this stuff, really. I'm probably the least knowledgeable guest you've ever had on this. And I don't mean about wine.
No, I mean, I've been on a couple times.
I just mean period. I'm probably the least knowledgeable guy in this room.
Well, but the importance of it is like, reaching different demographics into making this less scary for people.
Right.
You know? That's my role. I have to assume is asking the layman's questions. So.
Right?
No, but that's the thing. Like, I think that, the perception of being a wine professional and whatnot is one typically, right, of snobbery and this high mucka
Wine
thing.
shaming.
Yeah, total wine shaming, man. Like, it's embarrassing, and I think for me, like, I fell in love with wine just because of the culture aspect and just like how fun it is. Like, how fun is this?
Yeah.
You're tasting 4 wines. We
Blind.
don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's not like, oh, I only drink Cab. It's not anything like that. I don't know what any of these wines are. We're tasting it. We're deducing it unbiasedly for what just tastes good. Like, does it taste good? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be bougie. It shouldn't be
Yeah.
pretentious.
Just for pure enjoyment.
Yeah,
Which one did you
pure-
like better? You said you liked wine number 1 the best.
Beautiful.
That's perfect.
But there is like a thing about like if you're at a party or something and you're gonna order at the bar and the guy at the bar orders a wine and you order like a whiskey, you're kind of like, oh, the guy with the whiskey's ready to go. You know what I mean? Like there's like
He's ready to jam.
This other guy's like he's probably got like a work meeting in the morning. Or, like,
Right.
He's got stuff to do. You know what I mean?
Well, what my
Totally.
stepsister puts it as is like she likes to start drinking at 5 p.m. and make it to 10 o'clock news. So she drinks wine because if she starts drinking tequila or something,
Right.
she's totaled by
She's
7.
on the 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. She's on the yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, no, it shouldn't be pretentious. It should be
So is the
Country.
charring of the pizza going to affect the pairing
absolutely.
at all?
Yeah, char will definitely throw things, into another direction. I think with pairing, like even the other night when we had the taco that was slightly charred on the grill and stuff like that, that definitely played into the consideration of what wine we're going to use for sure. That was a good mushroom pizza.
That is a great mushroom pizza. How do you think it goes with wine number 1?
Still pretty delicious. I was like just wondering about the char too, because that's my favorite part. I feel like about these pizzas, like you smell that like burnt kind of
Right.
thing, and you taste it too. But
Yeah, I like that too.
mine one is good. I think it was felt a little more smoother with the margarita than with the
Makes it taste a little bitter because this
Absolutely.
is saltier, I think, or
Right.
something.
It's salty, and you don't too have like the acid of the tomato sauce, right? Which is a huge thing that'll change the wine and your palate's perception of flavor.
So smoother is good. That's a good indicator that you just said.
what do you mean?
That you thought it was smoother with the margarita
Oh
pizza.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely wine one tasted better with the margarita
yes,
pizza
1000%.
for sure, right? And not that the pizza tasted bad, but it just, sometimes pairings can just like mute things. Like it just kind of.
Yeah, it flowed, right? Like you just tasted one with the margarita, and it was like you didn't even have any wine, almost. Like,
Right,
you're just,
exactly. It was
having
just-
water or something.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You remember how. So proud of you. All right, let's roll to wine number 2.
This is a fantastic mushroom pizza.
It was really good. Yeah. So what do you think of that?
I like that.
That's
That
the
was
best.
good,
That
yeah.
was super
That
good.
was
yeah.
super good.
That's good.
Yeah, no, I mean, you could definitely tell, like, I mean, that had, like, no hard edges, no bitterness. I mean,
To me, how I'm like, I'm kind of in your boat. I don't know a lot about wine yet either. But how I judge a good pairing is that it's pretty seamless from food flavors to
Yeah.
wine flavors,
Totally.
That's what
Like,
I'm kinda-
nothing's
that's what I'm
overpowering,
getting.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just like I said, like you're having more of the same thing, pretty much, or like not. It's like you're drinking something pretty like like water almost. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't.
And how Micah put it, you would go right back to that.
oh, yeah, you would be slamming, gulping that glass, right? And it was, this is, tastes now even better than with Margarita pizza.
1000%.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, same wines on the table, different types of pizza, completely different experiences.
Mm-hmm. And like, you know, if I was at home, I wouldn't really be thinking about. To me, pizza's pizza. Like whether it's margarita or mushrooms, but you don't think about the differences between red and white sauce or the saltiness of a mushroom.
Yeah, or the umami from the mushroom, right? You know, it's that earthiness is going to play into how the wine's going to taste and how the pizza will taste with it. For me, like I try to think about two pairings like this. Like, you know, the chef is the one who creates this wonderful dish, just like an artist creates a beautiful painting, right? And as a sommelier, to me, my job is to accentuate the chef's cooking and dish, right? So it's like basically being you have Leonardo da Vinci that painted the Mona Lisa, and my job as a sommelier is to perfectly frame that dish out, not detracting anything from it, but only accentuating and adding to it. And that to me is like when that like magical kind of moment happens, when you perfectly frame out a dish to where you still see the full integrity of the dish. Because like even the mushroom pizza tastes better with the rosé than it did with the white wine, right? The white wine actually took away from the mushroom pizza
1000%.
as well, right?
I have a question then. Could it be the opposite way? Could you? I mean, obviously.
Could you have the right food to make a wine taste better?
Could you have the right wine to make the food like
taste better?
No, because you're saying like it's gonna accentuate, right? It's gonna enhance this dish. Like, could the wine be good that you eat this food? You're like, I don't know if I really like this.
Right.
And have the wine and be like, oh, I like this because
that's
the
a
wine.
good question.
For sure. No, actually, I think it goes both ways, and I think you know, as you know, I've done pairings in the past where the guests actually tasted the wine and they're like, yeah, I don't like this at all. But then had it with the food and was like, damn, the wine tastes really good now, and the food even tastes better. How'd you figure that out? So there's definitely those moments where,
or his kind of question to me is like, could the wine be the missing component in a cooked recipe that like someone left out purposefully, but is being filled by the wine? Essentially,
I think so, for sure. There's wines. So like one of the simplest ones that one of the easiest examples to give would be like, if a chef creates a scallop dish, and actually, so like our scallop dish with the Cioppino, right? Cioppino, with the fresh made pasta, scallops, there was not a lot of acid in that dish, right? But what I ended up pairing with the dish was the Champollion Vouvray, which has a ton of acid, right? And it was like a squeeze of lime or lemon over that dish, just like you would, if you ordered calamari at the bar, right? You grab that lemon or lime and you just, and what's that do? It provides lift. It's you're going from this now fried, oily thing to something more refreshing and lighter that just tastes better overall, right? So, even at that dinner, that's really the role of what the Champollion in that pairing that we did. So yeah, absolutely. You could use the wine as a component to fill in where maybe the dish is lacking and whatnot. So there's some pairings that are complementary. There's some pairings that are contrasting, right?
And then if the food is just flat out terrible, at least there's wine,
yeah, you can bury it. You can bury it with the wine.
Just house that whole wine.
Yeah, exactly. Just be like, double that.
Just put the bottle right.
I mean, I'm gonna eat it because I paid for it, right?
I'll try to pair that bite with that whole glass of wine.
Yeah, right. Tastes mean. Just don't dip it.
So red wine?
Red wine number one.
Oh, man.
That's the only problem when you're drinking 4 wines with only 3 slices of pizza.
Yeah. You like that?
I like that.
Yeah, that was much better than the first time around.
I like that a lot too, actually.
Totally. No, that was nice. That bitterness definitely fell away a bit. Yeah.
What is that mushroom just kind of kills some of that? Because I remember this was the one was like bitter, like towards the end or
middle.
Bitter in the middle. Yeah.
Bitter.
Bitter in the middle. So for me, what this is doing is the bitterness is muted by the fattiness because you're talking like white sauce, right? So there's a lot of fat on this, where the other, the Margarita pizza, has a lot of acid, right? So that's going to accentuate bitterness. Spice will accentuate bitterness, right? But fat will mute it, right? Fat in a dish will kind of subdue that bite, right?
And this has like the right amount of tannins for a pizza that is
for
fatty,
sure.
which
Right.
still isn't as fatty as like a ribeye steak.
Exactly.
Tannins.
Yeah, tannins. So tannins is basically something that comes from grape skins. So have you ever peeled a grape and eaten just the skins? It's weird. I used to do it as a kid. Maybe that's why I was destined for this stuff.
But I know what you're talking about. Like I've
Yeah,
done a grape in
right.
half
And it's like bitter,
yeah.
right? You have that texture, or like tea, right? Tea has this tannin, right? And it comes from the skins, the stems, and sometimes the oak in the wine. And it's like this, it's that like prickly, the best
Pucker
way I can,
power,
right?
Right?
Pucker power, right? This
Something that
sounds
just
super
makes
weird,
your
and I'll
mouth kinda
say this. I
dry
might get a
and,
little judgment, but like on an extreme level of what it feels like. Have you ever had a cat lick your arm?
No,
It's like doing that in your mouth.
but I get the reference.
You know what I mean, right? You ever had a cat lick you? It's like really prickly.
Yeah.
Their tongue, right? It's tannin, like can be like that in a lesser degree, but kind of texture.
Just dries out your
I'm never
mouth
getting
a little
invited to this again.
What happened when the cat licked you in your mouth?
Yeah, right. Exactly. All of a sudden, Humane Society busting it out my door.
So,
But
but
anyway,
essentially,
but yeah,
the more
tannin,
tannins
yeah,
that
exactly.
you have in a wine, the more fat that you'd want in the
Exactly.
thing.
In
Because
the
it
dish.
has more of that like bitterness.
It's gonna break down the.
Well, it's going to
fatty,
break
yeah.
down the fat and clean your palate to also do for your next bite. So kind of like what the acid did on wine number one with the first pizza, right? Is
Yeah.
just kind of refreshing, cleaning tannin can do that with fatty
Yeah.
components to it as well, right? It just kind of almost like scrubbing bubbles, right? Just kind of cleans your palate up. and
So what my
whatnot.
dad references a lot is like, you know, if you have like a cab sauv or something with a lot of tannins, you'd actually like soak meat in that overnight, and what it does to you, it tenderizes the meat because of the tannins in it.
Exactly.
So that's essentially what it's doing in your mouth.
right.
Similar to like a brine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kinda-
it breaks it down. Exactly, right. And then the tannin, the alcohol, all those things
Yeah.
kind of come into play with that. And that definitely is what, this pairing is doing. So that fat is kind of subduing that bitterness.
Your palate's pretty good though. That
Yeah,
you
no, it's
recognize
solid.
that.
Yeah, exactly. It's solid, man.
I've had a lot of tannins.
Yeah. Right on.
Last one.
Last one.
So mushrooms are so good.
Bruh. So good.
What do you think?
Still probably my least favorite
Yeah.
pairing with the
But
ones,
do you
but
think-
not as bitter as before.
It wasn't as
before.
Yeah.
hard as it was before. But definitely like there's this like almost like green cooling, like almost like menthol eucalyptus-y thing that's really coming through on the palate with that underneath, like the characteristics of like
You get
blueberry
alcohol, like,
and
right off the bat.
Right off
Right
the bat,
down.
you can taste the alcohol. Like it's super strong and pronounced.
And do you
with that
taste
pairing.
that because this is salty? Like this salt. How does salt and alcohol level affect?
Salt and alcohol level. I think to me, alcohol is going to be affected by either how fatty or acidic or sweet or bitter a dish is typically, and they'll come out in the flavor. Because what it is there's something in the dish that's going to bury the flavor of the wine that is basically masking the alcohol. Now, sometimes there's just wines that have high concentrations of alcohol. I mean,
I want to say though that with the char on the crust, it's not that bad with wine number 4.
Okay,
we're going to try that.
let's do this. Then.
You're going to dip it?
I just chewed it and
It wasn't too bad.
I still drank some with the pizza in my mouth.
it's okay.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I did too.
Me too.
No, and I think probably the bitterness of the wine is hidden by
That
the
is part-
bitterness
that is
of the
better,
char.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so the char, right, is going to be bitter. So you have, the bitterness of the wine, bitterness of the char, kind of muting each other out.
So
and
it's not like
basically
something that's
negating
not
each
bitter
other.
and something that's bitter. You're
Right.
gonna taste that bitterness way
For
more,
sure.
right?
For sure. But no, you're totally right. That wine tastes much better with the charred crust in there, for sure. For sure.
So what was your favorite pairing for this one?
This guy.
The rosé.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That would be mine too.
That'd be mine too. I actually really did like wine number 3. They're just two different kinds of pairings.
Exactly.
Almost. Like this one, like is kind of that uplifting pairing that you talk about?
And this one's a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more like, I'm going to drink this slowly.
A little bit more manly, like.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
It's like a posture thing.
It's interesting though because I don't
body.
feel like I would ever order like I would if I had to guess, right? Like I wouldn't order a wine like this when I got pizza. You know what I mean?
Right. No, 100%. And that's the thing. Like, the whole there's all these things, right? Red wine with red meat. That's not necessarily always true. Sauce, seasoning, style of cooking changes a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a pairing once with a steak, and I paired Riesling with it, and went and did it at the James Beard House in New York City, and they were like, "Who the hell are you to do Riesling with steak?" I'm like, "Just try it." They were
Was
stoked.
the steak sweet? That's why?
Yeah, it was covered in a truffle kobayaki butter sauce. I actually called your dad, and I was like, we're about to do this, and am I insane? Can you help me out? And
So
he asked the
essentially-
pairing, and he walked me through it, and he was like, "Man, go for it. Sounds delicious."
With wine and food pairing, if your food has any sweetness to it, you want to pair it with a wine that's slightly sweeter
Yep.
than your food.
Got it.
Which is like
That's interesting. I wouldn't. You would
And-
think
and-
like opposites kind of
Yeah.
attract kind of thing.
No, actually, so if you did that's why, sometimes when people say like, "Oh, I love Thai food with Sauvignon Blanc," I'm like, "Oh, sounds terrible." It's not good because the Sauvignon Blanc is just like acid, bitter, like everything with Thai food because it's sweeter, right? Like you eating pad Thai noodles and spicy just brings out bitterness, man. The best thing with pad Thai noodles is Riesling all day long because it's slightly sweeter. It tones down the spice. And then
Lower alcohol.
Right. And also too, because Riesling's super low in alcohol, it's even more subdued, right? And it's just delicious. Like even Panda Express orange chicken, Riesling all day, man. That's what I'm about right there.
So there, the at-home test that you can do is a Snickers bar and a can of Coke. And if you drink the can of Coke, it's sweet. If you eat the Snickers and then drink the can of Coke, it's not as
sweet.
It's
Yeah,
slightly bitter actually.
totally.
So you've been practicing a lot of Snickers.
I mean, practice what you preach.
Yeah,
man.
right. I mean, I think what it is too. The fun part about pairing that I love is just like it's basically you get to revert back to being like a toddler, right? Just stick everything in your mouth and see how it goes, right? Like it's just.
Don't give me that look.
Yeah, why did he give you that look, Color? What have you been doing?
What color words you live by?
Yeah, right.
Just put food in our mouth, yeah, already.
And see what happens. Oh my god, that pizza's
Pizza's
good.
bomb, too.
Super good.
Oh my gosh. Try it with the white. See how it goes.
Crazy. Way less subtle.
The white wine number one.
Yeah.
How so?
I got alcohol like way more in the beginning than I did with all the other two. Like the first margarita, like none,
Right.
pretty much.
Totally.
I think what Chuck was saying earlier that he thought there was
Tabasco.
Yeah.
but I think there's like something like pickled almost like a peppercini or something
Yeah.
on here that's like
totally.
that vinegary thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's definitely a vinegar
Yeah.
component to this pizza, which is
Well,
delicious.
you kind of nailed that pepperoni flavor.
Yeah.
too.
No, 100%. And you can taste it. Like, actually, the wine brings it out even
that's
more,
what made
right?
it taste so good. At
Totally.
my first bite,
but then with the
when I
wine,
drank-
Yeah.
it was like not so good.
Yeah.
No, that's super good. Yeah, that was probably my least favorite thing together. My favorite with pizza number one,
Yep.
but definitely not pizza number 3.
Total pepperoni flavor to this.
For sure. We should go there and find out if it's actually in there.
Mm.
You know what it's like? That's pretty good. Though.
That's pretty
That's
good.
actually pretty
yeah.
good. Yeah. Oh, the rosé is good.
It's really good.
It's like the I don't know what it's called, but Italian sandwiches have it. It's like that pepper pickled.
Yeah, the yellow one, the bright.
Banana peppers.
Yeah, banana peppers.
But you know how they
Yeah, they
do
cut 'em
other,
up.
Other peppers.
Yeah,
And it's like
yeah.
in a vinegary like.
Oh.
There's a word. There's like a. It's called something. But that's what I feel like.
Pepperoncinis, pepper. No.
I don't know, but definitely that vibe.
But
Yeah.
with rosé,
Oh man,
Went pretty
that's
well,
delicious.
yeah.
Like that. This is a pairing that you would probably polish the whole bottle of rosé eating this pizza. and you would still be trying to figure out how to work on your second slice afterwards. It just goes down so easy. Yeah, I'm gonna go back
that
for
one
more
more
of that.
time,
Yeah.
So easy. This rosé to me is kind of like those like Italian sodas at Whole Foods-esque, you know?
A little spritzy.
Yeah.
Totally.
Super fun.
Mm-hmm. Like that's the thing. Like I think like rosé fits a super cool niche that a lot of people don't get to play in too often.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something that's just, it's good with this super broad variety of food. So like one of the things I always think about, like we're obviously in the holiday season, people are like, what wine do I bring, you know, to this, you know, gathering of 5 or less, you know? And, you know, it just has such a cool range and bandwidth for just being delicious and easy to drink. With so many different things. And that's why, I mean, I love rosé. I probably have drank more rosé than any other beverage in my entire life, to be honest.
Especially in Hawaii's climate, too. It's hot,
exactly.
and we're at the beach a lot.
Yeah, I was saying we tried this earlier, and I was like, this is like a at the poolside kind of like
Yeah.
Right.
vibe.
Totally.
Light. Yeah, it does taste kind of like a soda.
Right.
Fun soda.
Yeah.
Fun soda. Happy soda.
Hard seltzers.
Yeah. No.
Rosé hard seltzer.
No hard seltzer. I just can't do it. I just don't see the appeal in
can't do
that
it
stuff,
either,
man.
bro.
I like them.
Really? It's all right. You can pick up cool stuff on wine. We'll let it go.
Is there bacon on there? I swear I had a piece of bacon on mine.
I actually had a whole one of those peppers.
Just now?
Yeah. Meh.
Not terrible.
Yeah, but super burny. Like the
Yeah,
alcohol
burny.
is like, it like stands out. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like the
probably gonna
acid.
punch. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna knock you out. Yeah.
I'm gonna put my seatbelt on. For
Yeah. Right.
Well, and I think it kind of goes back. This is like even more acidic than the margarita pizza.
Right,
Because
totally.
of that tanginess that we're
And that
getting.
vinegar characteristic from the peppers.
So,
Yeah, and it definitely accentuates the alcohol. It's like
Yeah.
it's like acid and
Jumping
alcohol
out of
all
the
in one.
glass,
Just
yeah.
yeah. Exactly. It's gonna brand you. All right.
I'm like hesitant to even take a sip, honestly.
Scared?
Don't be scared. Just give them.
Not bad.
Actually, better than 3.
Yeah, it is.
It's weird.
It kind of tastes like sweet lihimui.
But
Yeah, it definitely has
those
that crack,
white- those-
crack seed shop
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
flavor. Yeah.
But got
Or those,
super
like-
alcohol vibe at the end though.
Yeah.
Yeah, super. Like
Or those weird like Chinese candies. I mean, no offense, but like that are like
bro, I'm
purple,
Chinese, man. It's messed up, bro.
that are purple and like you're scared to
Yeah,
eat
right.
them.
The ones in the paper wrapper.
No, in
Yeah.
the white wrapper, like
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Are those just plums?
I think so.
yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I
plum.
get out of
Yeah,
that.
it's definitely plummy, dried plum. You got that licoricey kind of characteristic
Yeah.
on the wine for
But
sure.
finish is kind of sweet until the alcohol hits.
Yep. And then that's just that. I would say wine number 4 was best with that pizza for sure. We should try it with the char though. Maybe.
Wine number 4 over the rosé.
Oh no.
Oh.
I think wine number 4 was
out of all the
best
yes.
with just this pizza.
Yes,
All the
yes,
other
yes.
ones I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
But
With the char, we'll try.
mm-hmm.
And then you can repeat my question in the mic, but everyone go around and say their one favorite wine and food pairing of the night. Like their aha moment for the pairing.
Still didn't. Yeah.
Still didn't do it for me.
So they're gonna release. Are you guys gonna tell us what the blind wines were?
Your favorite ones.
Okay. So they want to know, out of all the wines with all the pizzas we tried, what was your most memorable wine and food pairing, Kimo?
Mine was definitely the margarita with the white, the very first bite and the very first thing.
Yeah, that was good.
What was yours, Micah?
I would say actually this meat and the rosé one, I really enjoyed that. That was
I'm gonna
really
go with
delicious.
the fungi pizza and the wine number 3.
Ooh,
Wow,
actually.
nice.
tough guy.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean-
why you big body, man.
That's where you got that beard, though.
Yeah, exactly.
This was wine number 3. So Domaine de Fonsent was wine number 3.
Nice.
So that was my favorite with the fungi.
The
Kimo.
Kimo's favorite with the margarita was Zoe.
You know what's crazy is that, and I don't ever drink white wine.
Yeah,
Like, almost never.
And Micah, this is the rosé that
awesome,
you're
man. The
crushing.
Vino Verde. Yes.
So your favorite was Zoe, which is a country style wine from Greece. Super fun.
And then this one is from Portugal, Vino Verde Rosé, and yeah, out of Portugal. Actually, and it's funny that you said it's like soda. It actually has you can actually see like little bubbles on the rim that they bottle it so fresh that there's still CO2 within the wine that maintains on it. And fresh bottles of Vino Verde, when you open them, they will go, give you a little psh, like you're opening a soda and whatnot. So super good pickup on that. And then, yeah, Domaine de Fonsant out of Corbière is
I think
wonderful red country style wine. But actually, all these are country style wines. They're like, none of them are, over the top. Actually, the Zoe and the Vino Verde are actually relatively affordable.
Well, I think the Domaine de Fonsent is only $17 or $18.
Exactly.
But these are like 14 or 13.
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
never even heard of these.
Muscafalero and
Roditis.
Roditis.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is from Greek. They're indigenous, Greek grape varietals that are really neat. Actually, Chuck, yeah, they're super aromatic, refreshing, beautiful minerality. And actually, the way they plant them is super neat. They bird nest the vines. Not in this one, okay, but in some vineyards over there, they do that in the high windswept areas. It's pretty cool. Got it. Yeah. So we were just told wine number 4 is actually California Cabernet. The most known, the most drank.
It was pretty oaky.
Yeah, it was oaky, and I know it's a high quality one for sure, but it just
for what we were doing wasn't. Yeah,
exactly wasn't the best flavor profile. But most people, obviously, you go to what you're comfortable with, right?
That's what I was saying. Like, I never really order white wines, like, period. But like I'm always like a red. Like, I want to, if I'm drinking like wine, I want to taste the alcohol.
Right.
But with the food, it was like a little much.
So now replay this scenario when you're ordering a drink at the bar and the guy next to you is ordering whiskey. You're ordering Zoe.
Yeah, you order a white wine.
You're like, well, this guy really has a business meeting
Right,
in the morning.
Oh, what a lightweight. And then Cully comes up and is like, yeah, I'll take a red while he has his white and shows you up.
The guy Kale comes up and he's like, "I'll take a red and whiskey."
Yeah, red and a whiskey. Yeah, exactly.
What is like the rules on when you're drinking when you're drinking a liquor, you're not normally mixing, right? Like you're not gonna drink whiskey and then switch and do normally do tequila. Like, is wine like that? Like, if you're not pairing, if you're just having wine to have wine, like, are you sticking? If you're drinking a red, you're sticking with reds, like, or would you?
Once you go to red, you kind of have to stick with that, right?
Not really. Actually, so when one of the things your dad taught me over the years, and I remember when I first went to a tasting with him, he had like 20 bottles lined up, and he started with these super heavy reds out of Washington. And when I looked down the row, we were ending with rosé and whites, and I was like, what is going on here, right? Like, I didn't in the beginning understand, because you would think you would taste in the progression that we tasted: white, rosé, red, so on, and right. But one of the things when I, as I learned through the years, is it's really about a pedigree to a large degree, right? Like, if you taste a wine that's super superior, red, white, rosé, or the other, and then you switch to something that is less superior, regardless of whatever, it's not going to work. I mean, there's other nuances to it, but for sure, like in terms of like acid, sweetness, all these things that you're going to take into account. But honestly, like, to me, with beverages, explore. Like, take the opportunity. Like,
Taste a white and a red back to back, he said.
Yeah,
See what
totally.
it's
Like,
yeah.
So you're
see what
saying if
it's
the
like.
quality of the wine is good, then
Yeah, I
going
mean, if you're
between
just going
different
up,
ones-
you're not going to go wrong. I mean, you might have to wash your palate out real quick, but, whatever, right? That's the first sip. And then after that, you're golden. And so, but it's really about the exploration, and like what this was like was the exploration of seeking good flavor in the combination of different things too, right? Like I remember I did a whiskey dinner years ago, like 15 years ago, and I was like, I don't even know where to begin with pairing whiskey and food together. I have no idea. And it was all Irish whiskeys. So I went to Murphy's and I said, give me just bowls of food. So tomatoes, cheese, meat. And I had like a bunch of things all on there. And the waiter was super accommodating. And I was like, okay, just give me every Irish whiskey you have, a shot of each. And I mean, it looked insane.
Call me an Uber right
now. Uber didn't exist back then, bro.
It was like bowl of cheese, every shot of whiskey.
Yeah, exactly. It was like every shot of Irish whiskey. No. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was
bowl of cheese, all the whiskey. A guy outside that knows how to fight right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was messed up. But I just remember like tasting this, I can't remember what it was at this point. And I barely remembered what it was at that point. And eating a cherry tomato and being like, that was the best thing I ever had in my life. But it's this exploration of different flavor combinations that is endless, right? And that's where like the whole thing of fine wines and local grinds, it doesn't have to stop at a fine dining dinner table. It's everywhere, right? You can do it everywhere. Like what's your favorite burger wine? What's your favorite, bratwurst wine or whatnot, and there is a wine for everything. And it's super fun to just play and figure it out.
Well, and that's what the beauty of this segment is we get to show what are the wines for our burger. Maybe that'll be our next episode or something.
Right.
So just to recap, Micah's favorite with the Mamma Mia pizza from Brick Fire Tavern was the Broadbent Rosé. Kimo's with the Margarita was Zoe, and mine's with the fungi was the Main Fun Sant. So I think that was really fun. And
all those words with my name sound very not tough.
It's okay, bro.
That's all right.
I like the Margarita with the Zoe.
Just don't become gluten-free. Have problems.
Well, I want to thank you guys. Did you?
Yeah, that was fun.
Nice, man.
I don't. I mean, really, the only times like when I've been to with your dad and he's paired up wines with food and stuff like that, I don't really, I don't explore that much. To be honest, don't really drink that much with food, period, because I don't feel like it, because I'm on a grind, that's how to like. Doing this is fun, different.
Nice,
man.
I
enjoyed it.
But no, I mean, it was impressive, man. You picked up on all the flavors. You picked up I mean, you were right.
Palate sensitive.
Lockstep in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I like the Zoe,
bro, and the heart, bro. Don't forget about the heart.
Well, I want to thank you guys. Thank you for coming up with this
hosting.
episode and this segment that we hope to continue, Micah.
Yeah.
Kimo, thank you for being our guest on this and helping us explore. And to everyone else,
always help you explore.
Maybe we can do a little cheers right now. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, appreciate you too, man. Cheers, guys.
Happy holidays.
Cheers, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. We hope to continue these fine wines and local grind segments. We think it'll be a really fun exploration of food and wine. So thank you.
No, thank you. Right on. That was fun.